today. The words of the Master, continuing with the last day of Yeshua. Seems like it's many days, but it's just one night. It's just one night where so many things are said, but along the same vein, with the same kind of point being made. If we go over to John 15, John chapter 15. Let's see here. We want to read one. Let's read 1 through. Let's just read through this whole thing. 1 through 27, and then we'll go back and talk about a few of the major points here in the chapter.
John chapter 15. I am the true vine, and my Father is the gardener. Every branch in me that bears no fruit, he takes away. And every branch that bears fruit, he prunes, so that it bears more fruit. You are already clean because of the word which I have spoken to you. Stay in me, and I stay in you. As the branch is unable to bear fruit of itself, unless it stays in the vine, so neither you unless you stay in me. I am the vine, you are the branches. He who stays in me, and I in him, he bears much fruit, because without me you are able to do nothing. If anyone does not stay in me, he is thrown away as a branch and dries up. And they gather them and throw them into the fire, and there are burned. If you stay in me, and my words stay in you, you shall ask whatever you wish, and it shall be done for you. And this my Father esteemed, that you bear much fruit, and you shall be my taught ones. As the Father has loved me, I also loved you. Stay in my love. If you guard my commands, you shall stay in my love. Even as I have guarded my Father's commands and stay in his love. These words I have spoken to you, so that my joy might be in you, and that your joy might be complete. This is my command, that you love one another as I have loved you. No one has greater love than this, that one should lay down his life for his friends. You are my friends if you do whatever I command you. No longer do I call you servants, for a servant does not know what his master is doing, but I have called you friends. For all teachings which I have heard from my Father, I have made known to you. You did not choose me, but I chose you and appointed you that you should go and bear fruit, and that your fruit should remain. So whatever you ask the Father in my name, he might give you. These words I command you, so that you love one another. If the world hates you, you know that it hated me before it hated you. If you were of the world would love its own. But because you are not of the world, but I chose you out of the world, for that reason the world hates you. Remember the word that I said to you. A servant is not greater than his master. If they persecuted me, they shall persecute you too. If they have guarded my word, they would guard yours too. But all this they shall do to you because of my name, because they do not know him who sent me. If I had not come and spoken to them, they would have no sins, but now they have no excuse for their sins. He who hates me hates my Father as well. If I did not do among them the works which no one else did, they would have no sin. But now they have both seen and have hated both me and my Father. But that the word might be fulfilled which was written in their Torah, they hated me without a cause. And when the Helper comes, whom I shall send to you from the Father, the Spirit of truth, who comes from the Father, he shall bear witness of me. But you also bear witness, because you have been with me from the beginning.
All right, very good. So we go back up to the beginning here. It's an interesting thing that Yeshua begins to talk to his disciples about. Again, on this final evening, he speaks to them at length about the coming of the Spirit. He says here in verse 1, where he kind of speaks parabolically, when he says, I am the true vine, and my Father is the gardener, or the husbandman, or the owner. He's the land possessor. He's the one that comes and trims, readies the vine, trims it, so that fruit can be birthed out. I always think about this because I have limited experience with vines. I have enough understanding to know that in order for fruit to come forth, there must be pruning. If you do not prune the vines, fruit won't grow. It just won't grow. It can be a vine. It could be a thing that it could really be a grapevine. But there has to be a cutting away so that fruit can come. This year, my grapevines, I didn't. When the spring hit, I didn't cut the old stuff away, and I didn't really see no grapes either. But the previous year, even though my grapevines got this disease, where the stuff that came didn't really, I mean, it grew, but they were rot because of, I really had to talk to a real botanist so that I could get a real understanding about what's going on over there. But the idea is that I had to really cut everything away except for the main branches. And then when I did that, that thing, like it like quadrupled in size. Like I cut it all the way down basically to almost nothing in the springtime. And then when it grew back more than what it was. And there was branches and fruit all over the place. But there has to be that pruning in order for that to happen. And so when you think about the thing that Yeshua is describing here, we kind of talked about this a little bit last week. When we think about, he's talking to his disciples and basically saying that you are these branches that come out of the vine, and letting them know, and then he goes into more specifics later, but letting them know there has to be first this cutting that happens. And when he's putting it in the context of a vine that grows, that's a lot of cutting. And so there's a lot of discomfort, uncomfortability that comes so that there can be growth and fruit. He said every branch that bears fruit, he prunes. If he sees a little bit of fruit there, guess what? The next year, that part getting cut off. but he's only cutting that part off so that more could grow. And so as each season happens, there's always going to be a pruning so that more fruit can grow. And so this is interesting that the timing that Yeshua is giving these instructions here, because he's letting them know it's pruning time. And it literally is pruning time, because it's the beginning of the springtime. Like, this is the time that you, like, before things, like right at the beginning when things are getting ready to start growing and there's not going to be any more coldness or frost that's going to hit. Well, you know that winter time's fully over. Now's the time that you prune your vines. They're not having a big pruning. There's only really one of them that's going away. But they are, in fact, having a season of uncomfortability that's happening. Namely the fact that Yeshua is about to die, and there's going to be that brief period of uncertainty about what's going to happen. And let me tell you, whenever I, as a novice husbandman, when I found out that I was supposed to cut this thing down all the way down to just the main trunk, doing that, the whole time I'm like, man, is this thing gonna grow back? Yeah. Like, there's that period of time of not knowing what's going to happen, but still just doing it anyway. It's a faith exercise to sit there and cut this thing all the way down to almost nothing for the purpose of fruit growing.
I remember we went to a vineyard.
Yes.
A vineyard in California, and all you went up there, you saw stalks.
Yeah. Yes.
Cut those things down, and that's their business. Like,
yeah.
They need the grapes so they can make the wine, but they have an understanding that they got to cut it down in order for it to all grow back.
Yeah, and at the vineyard, they kind of have them shaped in such a way where they look like these little trees. They literally look like these little trees with like a big trunk in the middle, and it grows out, and they have it on trestles or whatever, where it grows up from a big tree and grows out. But it just made me just think about when, just going back really fast to Deuteronomy, where when we looked at Deuteronomy 13, where he said, don't listen to the words of the prophet or the dreamer of dreams, for Yahweh is trying you to know whether you love Yahweh, your Elohim, with all your heart or with all your being. The Most High allows his people to go through these tests and to be in connection with these things that could potentially harm us, so that we can be proven in the end. And so when we think about this idea of pruning branches, how the gardener, the father is the gardener, where so that fruit could come, you have to be cut. The father's going to cut you so that fruit could come. And it could feel like judgment. It could feel like you're getting killed. You feel like you're getting judged. You feel like it's the worst thing in life that could be happening to you. You had all these wonderful branches and things that are coming off of you, and then the Most High is coming and cutting them all off. But he's not doing it so that you can die, or so that as a punishment, but he's doing it so that you bear more fruit. And so uncomfortability is something that we should expect. Go ahead.
Let me give a little bit of application to what that might look like. That might look like some friends being cut off. That might look like a job being cut off. It could look in all kind of various ways of you being pruned to get stuff out of your way, get people out of your way, maybe a direction you were going in your life, shut that door so you don't go through that door no more, just so he can send you in the direction he wants you to be most fruitful in.
Yeah. I mean, that's a perfect example, because when you think about doors being closed and things that were previously coming forth from you or for you that were means of provision, it's the exact same thing of talking about this idea of a branch that previously brought forth fruit. Where that thing got to be taken away, this thing that you thought was the means by which you was going to succeed and grow and be blessed.
That was last season.
Yes. Not this one. Right? And when that thing go away, even though that was the only thing that you knew, when that thing has to go away so that more can come. How many times do we sit up here and we keep on doing this thing because it's the only thing that we know, but meanwhile, that thing got to get cut so that you could bear more fruit. That's what happened. And so Yeshua here, as he's talking to his disciples and making this comparison between the true vine and a gardener and the branches, it's interesting where he gets down to verse 3, and he said, can you read verse 3 again, John 15:3?
John 15 verse 3. You already clean because of the word which I have spoken to you.
He said you're already clean. He's preparing the disciples. You're ready. You're clean. You've been prepared. You're ready to go. But he said, because of the word which I have spoken to you. The word causes us to be clean. Yeshua, who is the living word, in us cleanses us. So when we have this word that's, in a book with pages and letters, when we have the Spirit that's able to bear witness of this word, the thing becomes alive inside of us and cleanses us. And so he says that you're already clean. They're living a life that involves Yeshua speaking with them daily, bringing the word, this water of the word, to them continually. He's saying to them, all you got to do is stay in me, and I'll stay in you. A branch doesn't just bear fruit by itself. It has to be attached to the vine. And even though they're living this experience where it seems as if Yeshua, the vine, is about to go away, really the thing that he's doing is kind of a pruning action where it seems as if it's a cutoff, but really it's a means by which he's able to deliver more sustenance, more life, more provision to them through the Spirit of holiness that's about to come. He's describing to them the way that they're going to be forever interconnected with one another, like unto a vine and branches, which this vine being this thing that's able to deliver all the nutrients and things, from the root. It's so interesting when, as he gives this example of the true vine and talking about the gardener. It's so interesting when you do this thing of cutting the branches, cutting these branches off. You see from the outside they look dry. They look kind of dry and dead. But when you cut them, there's like the water drips out of the branches. That comes from, that's in the ground, that comes up through the roots and is distributed all the way out through the whole entire thing. And so you have this system that's working inside, I guess kind of like veins or whatever, like in our body, that delivers the nutrients throughout the branches. And Yeshua is saying if you're not connected to the vine, the branches, you can't live. So you got to stay in me. That's how I stay in you. He's talking to them again about, in connection to this vine, but he's speaking about the Spirit, the Comforter that is to come. And he's talking about this idea of being in me, where again, they physically experience this idea of being in Yeshua. We see where the Pharisees talk to them about things. How come you guys, we fast all the time. You guys don't never fast, right? Because they're experiencing this state of existence where Yeshua is literally dwelling with them at all times. But even just that is kind of this picture of the Spirit dwelling with his people at all times. This idea of being in Messiah, in Yeshua. He said, if we go down to verse 10, if you guard my commands, you shall stay in my love. Like a way that you stay in Messiah is by following after his will and his way. By listening to the Spirit of holiness that's going to be causing you to walk out that character of the Most High. That's how you stay in Messiah. I thought this was interesting. Read 11 and 12 again.
These words I have spoken to you, so that my joy might be in you, and that your joy might be complete. This is my command, that you love one another as I have loved you.
Okay, this is interesting because he's speaking about these things and he's saying these words. But we know that joy is the fruit of the Spirit. He says that he's saying what he's saying so that my joy, he's talking code words here, my joy might be in you, that your joy might be complete. He's talking about the Spirit. And then he says another way, this is my command, that you love one another as I loved you. So he's talking about this idea of joy being in you and being manifest in you, and love being in you and manifest in you. And by the way, if you love one another, that is a manifestation of the love that I've placed in you, and also this Spirit of holiness that's going to be dwelling in you, that this is a manifestation of that. And so again, he's giving his disciples, this is like unto Moses speaking to Israel as they are about to go into the kingdom. He's readying this. This is just like Deuteronomy. Yeshua is readying the disciples to enter into this new state of existence where he's not going to physically be them, but the spirit of him is going to be there, kind of like Moses, getting the people ready to go into the land where he's not physically going to be there, but Joshua is going to be carrying the mantle that is given to him by Moses. It's exactly the same thing. Okay, I want to drop down, just bring up a couple things over here. If we go, let's look at verse 18 and 19 again real quick here.
If the world hates you, you know that it hated me before it hated you. If you were of the world would love its own. But because you are not of the world, but I chose you out of the world, for that reason the world hates you.
To me, I feel like this is kind of re-saying this whole idea of vine branches pruning, discomfort, uncomfortability. You're going to live in a world where there is adversity. And the mainstream thoughts and ideas about the way things are going to be exact opposite of your thoughts if you're really in Messiah. He said, if the world hates you, you should know that they're going to hate you because they hated me first. And you're a follower of me. You're doing the things that Yeshua did and calls for you to be doing. Therefore, the same way he was treated, you'll be treated also. But it's good though. It's good and it should be expected. If the things that you have to say are generally accepted by the world, you're probably part of the world.
They won't hear any righteous stuff.
If the majority of the things that you have to say, if there's no kind of intrinsic controversy in terms of the mainstream thought, then you're probably part of the world. He said the world's supposed to hate you. If you were of the world will love its own. We can't seek to be accepted by the world, because by doing that, you're only watering down this unadulterated truth. It got to be unadulterated. It can't be watered down. It can't be given in such a way that the world likes it. Because we're not supposed to be liked, loved by the world. We should be hated. That's what we should expect. Can you read 20 and 21 again for us?
Remember the word that I said to you. A servant is not greater than his master. If they persecuted me, they shall persecute you too. If they have guarded my word, they would guard yours too. But all this they say shall do to you because of my name, because they do not know him who sent me.
Okay, very good. So he's not He's saying to his disciples, you're not greater than me. They went around, and the more exposure that Yeshua got, the more people wanted to kill him.
He's hiding.
And it's literally at the end of the road right now. And he's only doing the thing that the Most High sent for him to be doing. And the mainstream seeks to kill him. And he's saying, you're not better than me. I'm better than you. The same thing that is going to happen to me is going to happen to you. And you should expect it. You should expect it. He said in verse 23, he who hates me hates my Father as well. You know, this is an interesting saying, but because you know, when we think about these people who, you know, I always talk about mainstream Christianity, but we think about Torah only. When you think about non-messianic so-called believers, he said, he who hates me, Yeshua, hates my Father also as well. You don't have a relationship with the Most High if you don't accept not the idea of a Messiah, but Yeshua, who is the Messiah. In fact, he said, he who hates me hates my Father. You hate the Most High if you don't accept Yeshua, Messiah. Not the idea of a Messiah, but Yeshua, who walked around, who said all of these things that's in the Bible, that's colored in red. Like a specific guy who did specific things. If you hate him, you hate the Father. And so that person's anti-Messiah. They're anti-Messiah. And that's, you know, that's an interesting thing, because, you know, we think about, sometimes, I'm not going to say we, but there's people who think about, you know, these people, well, you know, they still Israel, they just don't know Messiah. But the things that Yeshua is saying, to me, that's anti-Messiah.
I mean, my main connection with people is Messiah. They, you know what I mean? Like, that's the connection. It's the Ruach. Not the Torah, necessarily, because, you know, people, I mean, the Torah is, you know, in exile. You know, there's only but so much of a command that, you know, can be kept in exile anyway. But, that's not that's just like everybody who, I don't know, like if someone's a vegetarian, then they're cool with all vegetarians. No matter what their, you know what I mean? Like no matter what their beliefs or customs or morals are.
I think when you think about this in the context of Yeshua and his time, the Pharisees were just like these Torah-only people that you might come across. And they were the arch nemesis of Yeshua. They were the ones who did not believe in Yeshua as Messiah. These were the non-believers. And so they had all of this deep knowledge, this so-called deep understanding about what the Torah said, but they wasn't able to see it for what it really was, which was the schoolmaster that leads us to Messiah.
Right.
And so, you know, there's something to gain from the fact that Yeshua, at this time, when he's getting ready to die, he's talking so much about the importance of what's about to happen, which is the Spirit that's about to come to dwell in the hearts of those that believe in him. Over and over again, different ways, he's speaking it in different ways, is a reason for us to be able to see and understand the great importance of what's happening. It's the fact that the Spirit, we need the Spirit that comes through faith in Yeshua. And outside of that, here he's even saying you hate the Father. All right. Does anybody have any thoughts or questions or comments about John 15?
If you think about, you know, most people who, you know, say they, you know, follow Jesus, they don't even consider the Father. You know, it's literally, like you were saying earlier, the Father is part of the Old Testament, you know, Torah, and you know, it's not even about him no more. It's about Jesus. So when they have this mindset, they have a hatred towards the Father, and that's why they have a hatred towards the commandments and whatnot. And they're like, man, all of that, we ain't doing none of that. We just gonna follow Yeshua, have faith in him, and if you try to keep the commandments, you're in sin.
They make you a sinner.
Yes, they make you a sin.
I haven't heard people talk like that. I mean, I guess I'm not around people anymore because it's like, you know, when I first came into the faith, I heard that all the time. You know, following from grace and
Oh, that's what they say.
Judaizer, all
Oh,
that
yeah.
type of stuff. But I haven't heard people talk like that recently because I guess I don't talk to people.
Yeah, it's only because you were not listening, because they still saying it. They saying it even more.
I just watched the video the other day. Where he was like, literally, you're gonna go to hell
Wow.
if you keep the commandments.
It's so harsh. It's so harsh, but it's so backwards. You know, verse 10 over here he said, if you guard my commands, you shall stay in my love. But he already said, I don't say nothing that the Father didn't say. And so if he's saying that if he says the words my commands, he can't be saying that there's anything other than what his Father already said. And so if we pay attention to what Yeshua himself is saying, we know that there ain't no separation. But these people with these doctrines will make a separation and make it seem as if one fights against the other, which at its core doesn't make any sense. But this is the doctrines of the mainstream. And Yeshua is bringing the whole thing together. And if we look at it the way that it's supposed to be looked at, then we're able to see these things coming together and see the message that Yeshua is actually making. And you know, it's so powerful understanding when he says that he is the truth. When you know the truth, it's so easy to be able to know what a lie is when you know what the truth is. Like if you don't know the truth and somebody tell you a lie, you can be like, wow, that's interesting. If you don't know what the truth is. But once you know the truth, as soon as somebody starts speaking a lie, that's not the truth.
A lie sounds so foolish to me. It just sounds like you believe that?
Yeah.
Like it just sounds so like dumb. And I'm not trying to be
When you know the truth.
When you know the truth,
Yeah.
yeah, it just sounds like it's so confusing. Like their doctrines are so confusing.
Yeah. Yes, when the truth is so easy.
It's so easy.
It's so easy.
It's common. It's common sense.
Yes.
It's just, you know. And another thing you said is, if you in the mainstream, you in the wrong stream. we ain't supposed to be in the mainstream. Everybody's in the mainstream.
Yeah.
That's where everybody goes. Goes to the main. We supposed to be on that low, hard to find stream.
Yeah. That's what Yeshua said. That's what he said. He said, what's the straight gate verse? We're gonna end. Let's end on that.
Because the gate is narrow and the way is hard pressed, which leads to life, and there are few who find it.
Hold on. Read 13.
Enter in through the narrow gate, because the gate is wide. Enter in through the narrow gate, because the gate is wide and the way is broad that leads to destruction, and there are many who enter in through it. Because the gate is narrow and the way is hard passed, which leads to life, and there are few who find it.
I mean, when you think about this in the context of the world and being hated by the world, and Yeshua, with the message that he has and the great persecution that he faced, and the fact that he's readying his disciples to face that same and sometimes even worse persecution, when you think about this idea of the straight gate and the broad path, it's almost as if it's a tall tale sign. If this is the thing that everybody doing, that's the red flags right there.
I think about like one of those. I think about like a street that's like dark or whatever. Like looks like it's on a hill. Maybe hard if you go down it. You might not be able to do a 3-point turn to get back out.
Yeah. Yes.
Not that many people's gonna go down that road.
Yes, because the way is hard pressed.
Yeah.
He said that way is hard pressed. Like you got to wants to go down it.
Yes. You gotta be like
That other way. I remember, whenever Foodland was up there where the Dollar Tree is.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you was walking from Charles Street and you went up that little alley, there was a beaten path. There wasn't a real sidewalk, but you walked up the sidewalk and then there was like a beaten path that was just hammered out from people walking up that way and then walking down through the grass to get there.
Yep.
And it wasn't on the street. It wasn't even a long little path, but it was a path that was formed by people walking there. And it wasn't the main path. There was a road you could walk up the street and go the sidewalk way where everyone went, or you could go this off way. You wanted to get there in the most fastest direct way, and that was the way. And when you think about this way unto Messiah, is not the main way.
Right.
It's not the way that everybody goes.
Right.
It's this other way. But it's the way that he prescribes. There's other people that sit up here and try to make it seem like this is the way, but because you know the truth, you understand that it's a lie. And it's that horse too, it is a lie.
Right.
And I think that, it's so interesting, we kind of just closing on this note, when we look at Yeshua and these things that he says, again, he's letting his disciples know this is going to be hard. It's not going to be easy. You should expect for it to be hard. you should know that the things that you're going to be facing, if you're not connected to Messiah, if you're not connected to me, you might not even make it. And so you must be and stay connected to me so that you can make it, so that you can bear forth fruits, and so that you can know and be assured that even though you're in these, you're going to, face these situations that you'll be able to, in those situations, experience my love, my joy, he even last week he talked about my peace. He's given all these code words that are pointing us back to the fruits of the Spirit, but only if we continue and stay in Messiah do we experience these things that he calls for us to be experiencing. So, just kind of ending, understanding that, again, it's so interesting looking at the way Yeshua is preparing his disciples as he's physically going away, but even though he's physically going away, he's sending back the Spirit, which, really is greater. The Spirit within us, his disciples, is greater than him physically actually being there with the disciples.
He's inside.
It's right, because even before he was only in physical proximity to his disciples, but now it's a thing where he's literally living and dwelling on the inside,
Bringing all things to their remembrance.
Yes.
And how I look at this is, there's two choices. You want to be loved by the world, or you want to be loved by the Master?
Yes. I don't need the world's love.
I don't need it. I don't need
I don't
it.
want it.
Because it don't even love you anyway.
No, it just seems like it. It just seems like love. It's not. It's fake love.
Yeah, they love seeing you down. They love seeing you down bad.
It's impossible actually for that to even be love, because the Elohim is love. So whatever thing that the world has that seems like is love, it can't be love.
It leads to death. And how is death love?
It's not. It's not.
The love of the Messiah leads you to life.
Because it is life.
Everlasting.
Those things are simultaneous and, with one another. And so, again, when we think about what Yeshua offers, what he brings us, what he makes available to us, and him being the truth, it's so great to be able to experience his truth, because he truly is the light, and him being the light allows us to be able to understand what darkness is, and helps us to know that's not where we're supposed to be.
Absolutely.
All right. That being said, I guess we'll be done for now. Y'all willing, we'll be back on next Shabbat to continue with the Torah portion and also the words of the Master. But until then, we'll say Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.